Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pop Culture Piggies, where we talk about all things TV, movies, sports, and pop culture. Today, we have a very special episode focused on the monumental 50th season of Survivor. And I could think of nobody better to bring along than a true reality TV historian. You may know her from Reality Realness, RHAP, but I know her as my co-host and fearless leader of our challenge coverage, Chantele Francis. How are you today?
Woohoo! It's so fun to be here. I love the fact that you have started something new that I can come and chat with you. I'm feeling great. Like I'm excited to talk about Survivor, talk about it with you. I kind of have seen who might be on the cast, but it will still be a bit of a surprise. So I can't wait to go through this cast with you. Pumped.
Yeah, I put together some fun stuff here. I mean, everything that I've heard, and I'm sure a lot of it is the same things that you've heard. It's all very speculative, I will say. I don't think this is going to be the final cast. I mean, we don't know who's an alternate. We don't know who will be cut over the next couple months, but we have a good idea of how things are looking, at least. And I, for one, am pretty excited. Before we kind of get into all of that, I'm curious, where do you stand in terms of what you would like to see for Survivor 50?
What I would like to see, actually, I really would want to see maybe first boots or people that have never won, that have only played one time. That's basically what I would. First boots would be cool, but like maybe they wouldn't be people that everybody knew, so it wouldn't maybe get the draw that they would want for a monumental season like 50. So we could do first boots maybe in the 54 or 55 season of Survivor. But for this one, I want players that have never played a second time. They never had a second opportunity to come back and be allowed like that chance to be on this show that we all have grown to love for the last 25 years. So that would be my ideal.
That's kind of where I'm at too. I mean, I definitely don't want winners.
No.
And then I'm just looking back at season 32 when they did second chances, and everyone was playing so hard, and it was such a fun season that I don't know why they never went back to that, where they have this long list of hundreds of people that want and deserve a second chance, but they kind of recycle a lot of the same names. I mean, obviously, it's not as bad as the challenge, which we talk about a lot, where it's the same names like 20 plus times. But even someone like Sari, who I love, I mean, we've seen her 5-6 times on reality TV.
More.
And I don't know. Yeah, more. I don't know if that's someone, as much as I love her, if like we need to see that again when there's so many people dating back to the early 2000s that we haven't got to see a second time.
100%. Now, I know that it's likely that people, like some of these big names that are coming in that have been on TV many times, it's because just that they are in the forefront of people's thoughts and their minds, and they've been on something recently. And so they kind of want to use the buzz that they already have created around them to really amp up season 50. But I do think that they should go back a little bit further, have maybe a couple people from the new era. But I would like to see, there's a lot of people I'd love to see from previous seasons, like before season 40, that I don't think are ever going to get the chance, and this would have been a great opportunity for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, I mean, who are some of those people? I mean, we'll get to the kind of the speculative list, but who are some of those people that you don't think will be there that you'd like to see?
Well, if they are there, it is just because I don't actually know who's on the list. But what's her name from the brigade, the Black Widow Brigade that didn't, like, the blonde girl, Natalie
Bolton? Yeah.
Like, I would like to see her. Like, she was part of like this, like everybody else that was in that group has kind of done a lot more. We've seen them more. Like, I don't know if she's come back for a second season or not. I don't remember if she has, but somebody like her, even somebody like, who did I love from like seasons past? Like we talked definitely about Sean Rector. He was from season 4, Marquesas. I do think that he might be getting a shot here, but like that's somebody that it's been a long time. Boston Rob on the same season. They were thick as thieves for a lot of that season together. And we've seen all of what Boston Rob has done, and we've seen like barely anything of what Sean has done. So somebody like that has been part of some of these older seasons that we're just like, why haven't we seen them? Why haven't we had them come back on anything since? People like them.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, Sean in particular, because he was the bigger personality on that season, and Rob got to come back for All Stars. Rob has now played 4 other times, and Sean has just been kind of thrown to the side, where Sean was more entertaining than Boston Rob in the Marquesas. So I've hearing some potential whispers of Sean being on the cast, or at least being in the mix, and I really hope so. I mean, a few other people for me, like Greg Buis. I mean, I think that's by choice that he hasn't come back, but
remind me who he is again.
From Borneo, he had the kind of showmance with Colleen.
Oh, I don't remember what he looks like. I remember Colleen for sure.
Yeah, Colleen would be awesome. Natalie Bolton was one for me as well. I think Dreams from Fiji would be amazing.
Sure. I would even take Elizabeth Hasselbeck. Like that could be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, any of those people like that wants to play. John Carroll from the Marquesas would be fun.
He's still kind of in the zeitgeist. Because I did do Marquesas with Mike Blue when he was talking about potential cast lists for season 50, and definitely John Carroll he ended up being like the 5th person to our list of 4 people, or maybe the 4th person to our list. And he commented, and he was so happy that he was being part of the conversation. So he would love to be on the show again. I want to see those people for sure.
And then another one for me, Michelle Yee from Fiji, I believe. She was so fun. I think she got swap screwed, and then she was like one of the first ever swap screws. And she never got a second chance. She was very young at the time, so she's probably in her early 40s now. But she would be great. And Shane Powers.
41.
Yeah, 41. Shane Powers, the fact that he's never got a second chance is wild. I don't know. I think maybe he's not like PC enough anymore, but him not being on Heroes Villains or Fans vs. Favorites is just a bit of a miss from production.
And you know who I would like to even see again is like our boy Bryce Isaiah.
Yeah.
I know I hang out with him a lot. Him and Wendell do their Bryce and Wendell present, and they go around and they do Survivor watch parties. He loves Survivor so much. He started his own channel. He's so entertaining and interesting. He only made it through, I think, 3 episodes. And I think that I would like to see him play again, especially with him now having almost probably a decade of knowledge about Survivor. I would love to see what it would be like for him to go back in for his second term.
Yeah, I wish that they did a season, say 45 maybe, was second chances. And then people like Bryce could reasonably like be cast there. I don't know how likely it is that he would get cast on a season like this, unfortunately. But if he was on 45, and I do think he would do really well because he's built all those connections, he then has a case to be on 50 if it is a Legends type of season. I mean, we saw Kelly Wentworth had a similar trajectory where she was an early boot. She comes back, makes it to the final 4, becomes a fan favorite, and now she's someone that could easily be on 50, has returned since, and is like viewed as a legend. And I think, people like Bryce have just not had those opportunities, and it kind of sucks.
It totally sucks. And, all of our favorites, they had opportunities to play again, to get us to love them, for them to come back armed with more knowledge of the game, how to play, and have the opportunity to reach that legendary status. And so there are some of my faves that, even she got a second chance, but Francesca, I wouldn't mind seeing her play again.
Well, similar to Francesca, someone
Yeah.
I would love to see is Reem Daly.
Oh
I
my
think
God,
that would be
bring
awesome.
Reem back.
She was a first boot, but we got a full season of her, and she was so entertaining. And I want to see her actually play the game outside of Extinction Island. That would be really fun. And again, it's just like, it's so hard. I mean, we can't really get someone like Reem on another show. She's not going on Traders or The Challenge.
No.
But the fact that Survivor hasn't given enough opportunities for people like that, I think it's just a miss. I think casting has gone in a really positive direction, especially with diversity in the 40s. The issue that I've just had is all those people that played in the 30s just got screwed by not having other opportunities to play.
100%. And I mean, I do think that casting is better nowadays for diversity, but going back to if we want to keep that diversity initiative going, the people that played before season 40, there's not as many opportunities. And so the ones that stand out that are diverse, they will maybe have a little bit more likelihood to get cast on a short season like this. And then kind of everybody else will, it's like, sorry, unfortunately, you're not going to get to have a chance on 50. But maybe this will mean that they'll have another returning season before season 60, you know?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope they do at least like a new era All-Stars at some points after 50. And then they could loop in some of the people from like the late 30s as well, hopefully.
Yeah, even like, I think he might be on the cast. No, I won't even bring him up. But we were talking about Extinction Island. I can't remember her name right now. The red hair, and she had the pigtails with the hot dad.
Victoria.
Yeah, I would love to see her play again. I remember I was rooting for her a lot that season. Yeah, but like we haven't really heard much from her, have we?
Yeah, she was real fun. I mean, she pops up on podcasts here and there, but she's definitely still involved in the community. But yeah, those people, like, there's just so many hidden gems out there, and you can't get more Kelly Wentworths unless you give them opportunity to be Kelly Wentworth, because they were cast for a reason. It's not like someone like Victoria is a dud. It's just she had her chance. She did pretty well, and then you never gave her another chance until season 50 or season 40, which was all winners. So scrap her there. And then all the 40s, no returning player seasons.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other people that will jump out, but my mind's like a blank.
Oh, we'll get to more. But there are some things that we do know now. So I want to get to a little bit of the fan voting, get your thoughts on some of that. There was one about tribe colors. I didn't even jot that down because I don't really care.
Well, but one thing though about the tribe colors that I think it indicates that it's going to be 3 tribes, right? Unless it's 2 tribes and a merge tribe, right? Because there's 3 colors, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm hoping it's 2 tribes and then a merge, and they do 20 people. Because if they cap it to 18 and we lose 2 more people, I think that's another miss there. So I'm hoping it's going to be the 2 colors, and then maybe like a swap. There's a swap to 3, which is what they did in Cambodia. They did 2 to 3. So it is possible the third will be a swap or merge, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Okay, like because we haven't been voting on that yet, but I definitely want 2 tribes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the obsession that Jeff has around these 3 tribes. Maybe that he feels as though every tribal council is going to be interesting and people are going to be wanting to save themselves. But with him taking away a lot of votes and stuff like that, yes, you might have an interesting tribal council, but it really takes it away from the players playing the game. And that's what I want to see. I love the bigger tribes because it's like, okay, you might be public enemy number 1, but it doesn't mean that you are out of the game because you could gather numbers if you have a bigger tribe. So I'm praying for 2 tribes of 10 or whatever they decide, as opposed to 3 tribes of 7 or 6.
Yeah, I think we need 2. And another thing that's just so much better about 2 with returning player seasons in particular is you don't like if there's one tribe that keeps winning, though that tribe gets no airtime. But if there's two tribes, both tribes are going to get airtime. So if you have these big players back in there, like a Suri, and Suri's on a tribe where it's three tribes and her tribe keeps winning, you're really going to have Suri get no airtime for the first 6 episodes. It's like, come on, just give us the 2 tribes. Let us split things a little evenly. So yeah, I hope that is part of the vote and people vote accordingly. But yeah, in terms of what we have voted on so far, where do you stand on rice versus no rice?
Give them rice. I don't think that they're going to be starving enough. I don't think that taking rice away from them. Like I liked before where they were rationing out the rice and like, oh my God, he took a bigger scoop full of rice. Like that also can create some friction and dynamics. And like, some people I don't want to eat my rice today. I want to save it for tomorrow. But then they like vote them out so they can get their rice. Like, I just think that it also creates some interesting dynamics other than just being very hungry. So
yeah, and another person that never got a second chance on that subject.
Jatia.
I mean, we had an all-time moment where she dumped the rice. So, yeah, you never know. Things can happen with the rice. And also, they don't really show us the survival part of the game anymore anyways. Like, we don't get these long fishing segments. We don't get people really climbing trees, searching for food. So if they're not going to focus on that, just give them the rice, and it doesn't really matter to me. So either way, I don't really care that much about that one because it doesn't impact my viewing experience.
Yeah.
The next one definitely does. Fire making or vote at Final Four?
I never really enjoyed the fire making portion of it. It could, though, be because of how they implemented it. If it was something that was a natural new twist that came into the game, maybe I could have gotten behind it. But because it seemed like it was only put in place to help their golden boy for that season get to the end and win, which he did. I think it put a bad taste in my mouth for having this be a new clause that's put in, like, oh, we can't vote out of Final Four anymore because if the front runner doesn't have the numbers, they're going to take him out. And so we want our front runner to be able to get to the end. And I'm like, well, part of the game is to actually put yourself in a position where people are going to want to take you to the end. Like that's part of the dance and the finagling of your alliances and the people you're playing this social game with. And so I hate the fact that fire could just, usurp all the work socially someone has done or not done in the game and still get them a win. So I don't like it personally, but it could be because it was tainted by how it was introduced.
Yeah, I really don't like it. Although I will say I do like it when it happens naturally. If someone can maneuver their way into forcing fire, I don't mind that because it's the vote component. The whole point of Survivor is the vote. And if someone is supposed to go home, but then they can convince someone to vote with them to allow them the chance at fire, I'm all for that. That's totally cool with me. I mean, we've seen it happen a few times. I think Bob and Gabon and Suri as well what were in fire making before it was a forced thing. And to me, that's like perfectly fine. I don't think you should have to come up with a vote. If you're deadlocked, then go to fire at Final Four.
Agreed. And also in this most recent season 48 there was a weird vote where people didn't have votes and then it was a deadlock and then person that wasn't supposed to vote in the tiebreaker was able to vote. Like, why did you just force those two people to do fire? Like that would have been a time where I was like, I'd be down with doing fire. This season it would have been between Say and Justin, and that would have been for me a good determinant of like who goes home. But yeah, I do like it in the way that you're suggesting as well. Yeah. If it's like you force that to happen, if you're using it as an element of your game and your strategy, okay, I can get behind it. But the fact that it just was implemented just to help Ben win, like,
yeah. One thing I was thinking, and I don't know if I even love this, but I think I like it slightly more, is what if they did do fire making at Final Four, but it was a Final Two? And then there was still like a whole nother round. So the person wins at final 4, they take someone with them to final 3. The other 2 people, they go to fire, one of them gets out, but then it's like, hey, this is not the final 3. We're doing another immunity challenge and we're doing a final 2 here. So it's fire making, but then a surprise final 2 afterwards. I still don't love it, but I think I like it a little more.
I like it a little more because, yeah, I like it a little bit more. I do. But I would prefer not having it than having it. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I still don't like it. I just I don't like the idea of, hey, I'm choosing someone to go to the end with who sucks. I mean, I guess the problem with the final 3 thing, that person is probably still going to go to the end. But yeah, troubleshooting it a little bit, but not too much. The next one I think is pretty obvious. I mean, live reunion or Fiji. I mean, we all want the live reunion back.
So does Jeff just think that it's more real, more raw, just seeing people that went through 26 days, however long they were in sequester on the show, and then they're starving, so they're getting pizza, they're getting champagne, they just either won $1 million or lost $1 million, and then they have to talk about their experience? I don't find it very compelling. I haven't been watching even that part of the reunion after, because there's no perspective, there's no reflection, there's no understanding where people came from. So you might still have grudges that don't need to exist, but it doesn't really show because you don't know what to say. What I loved about the live reunion later on, 3 months after everybody's watched the show, people have seen the confessionals, seen how people are. The votes are already locked in, so it's not going to screw them over like Danielle in season 3 of Big Brother. Mm-hmm. But then they can come back and they can speak on their experience with a lot of perspective and understanding and knowledge about what actually happened in the game. And I love seeing them go from gaunt and dirty to all glamored up. I do like that transition as well. Be like, oh my god, they look so great. So yeah. I want it back. I'm sure you do too. And so does everybody.
Yeah, honestly, what I think they should do for 50, which would be kind of the best of both worlds, or I mean, would be the best for the fans and for, I mean, the history of the show, is do something similar to what they did in Survivor All-Stars, where they have it be this massive event where they can bring back people that weren't even on the cast and have it be instead of just 30 minutes at the end of the episode, have a 2-hour special where you can have Boston Rob and Sandra and Parvati in the audience, or you can have them doing kind of an award show ceremony kind of thing. Survivor All-Stars really maximized on that. And I know Survivor All-Stars, there was way more viewership back then. So it was Survivor was way bigger, but I think they have such a golden opportunity to bring back the legends that are not on the cast and have them be a part of this reunion show and just make it a huge thing.
Well, I remember so many big people were in there, and then you got Jeff doing his little interviews with the young kids being like, I want to be on Survivor 40. And so you could have that person come back 15 years later or whatever. I agree. I enjoy having a star-studded, even making a red carpet event, affair. It would be fun.
Yeah, it's Survivor 50. I think they need to. Something I would also like to see them do is in the build-up for the season, I think they need to utilize their talent. Have I would love a live cast reveal kind of thing, and have there be at the end of season 48. What if there's an episode where it's hey, we're gonna announce the cast live and have them board the plane to Fiji live. They did that for Second Chances, where they revealed them live. And they all got on the bus. So what if they did something like that where, fun. Yeah, Boston Rob and Sandra are revealing the cast live, and then they all come up and it's this big moment. They could really do that. It's Survivor 50. Do everything that you can do.
I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe I just haven't been on social media enough to see, but there isn't as much hype as I thought that there would be around this season. I don't know. It could be because they don't want to overshadow 48 and 49, maybe, but they really could amp this up a lot more, and I haven't seen it happen yet. So do you know if there's a specific date when they're going to actually reveal the cast, or Do we have any of that information?
Yeah, I'll get to that on the next slide. Actually, I do have some kind of not like a definitive date, but kind of like a rough timeline. We'll kind of hammer out some of these ones. Advantages: minimal, strategic, or dynamic. I don't even know what that means, to be honest. I voted minimal because I like the social side, and I assume minimal just means like, hey, there'll be idols, and we'll get rid of like the what's it called? Shot in the dark and like all that stuff. Like, I don't really care for any of that. I like idols; they're cool. I don't need much more than that. So that's kind of what I voted.
Yeah, I don't need much more than an idol. I don't want an idol nullified. I don't need an extra vote necessarily. I don't need vote steal. I don't need an idol nullifier. If I didn't already say that. So wait, minimal would be like just having maybe an idol. Strategic, what would that mean? Like you had to solve a puzzle to get like kind of like what they did this season with the ciphers. Is that strategic?
I assume so. Or maybe that's dynamic.
I feel like dynamic was more so about season 47, how they had like three, like, you know, you have an idol that was for one tribal, three tribals, five, or, you know, until final five. And then it was more difficult to be able to get. That's maybe more dynamic. I don't know. It's not very clear. For me, less is more with the idol because I am, as you are, more excited by people interacting and playing with each other and using their bonds and friendships to either work with or stab in the back, you know?
Yeah, I also don't want to see, like, if they're gonna go heavy on the old school players, which I am cool with, but I don't want to see all these old school players playing a new school game where they're fish out of water. I mean, on season 40, even like we saw people like Danny Boatwright and Amber, like they didn't really fit in. Ethan, like they all went home early. They didn't really fit in there because the game was so fast paced. And I agree, less is more, especially if you're going to be casting outside of the 40s.
And like I know that you know, the game has to evolve, and I understand that Jeff wants to keep it fresh and innovative and new, but I fell in love watching boring old Survivor season 1. Like that, it was so dynamic seeing these people learning to live together on this beach. I found that's what was so captivating by everybody, that everybody's like, what is going on? Like, you're gonna give $1 million for this? Like, it was insane to me. And so it's, yeah, I want it to go back a little bit more bare bones, where the real reason why I fell in love with the game is comes back to me. I don't play games of chance really, and that's seemingly the direction that it's going in. It's more like a treasure hunt, kind of chancy, kind of booby trap kind of game. And that, like, if I were a new fan right now, I wouldn't be drawn to maybe continue watching. You know what I mean? So hopefully they take it back to a little bit more bare bones so we can get back to the social dynamics that made us all fall in love with Survivor.
Yeah, for sure. How about tribe swap or no tribe swap?
I mean, I hate people getting swap screwed. That drives me crazy. But I can take it or leave it. It's not that big of a deal for me.
Yeah. I think I voted yes on the tribe swap. I actually like seasons where there is no tribe swap. I mean, Heroes Villains was awesome when there was no tribe swap. And then Palau was another one that was awesome with no tribe swap. When you had like a really fleshed out story. I just think like it is hard to predict. So I think like you do run the risk of, if there is no tribe swap, it ends up a little bit boring. Like Survivor Panama was pretty boring. So until the merge, at least. So I did vote yes. And I do think like season 50, like probably makes sense to have a tribe swap.
Sure. I mean, fine, like have the tribe swap. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I don't necessarily love it because, especially this season, like it's messing up my draft big time. And I don't like when some players that were in a decent position, their game just gets it's just throttled because of the bad luck. And so
I mean, we saw it happen with Sandra and Parvati on season 40, which was just a complete nightmare, where we got the tribe swap, then they go home in one night in a double tribal. It's like, damn, we just lost like our two biggest players in one night because of a tribe swap, where they otherwise were positioned pretty nicely. So there is risk both ways, but I imagine we are going to get a tribe swap.
I think that people
And
will vote yes.
yeah, this last one really bothered me because I do not like any of these challenges.
I don't even know which ones are what. Can you describe them to me?
Yeah, Samotion is the one we've seen it like 10 times.
Where they grab it?
Like yeah, they put the balls in and they have to time the balls. Like to me, that one it's a fine challenge. We've just seen it so much. The obstacle course, they showed a picture of it, but it just looks like literally just like a giant obstacle course, which I don't love for a final challenge. Because if there's one like physical dude there, they're just gonna win it.
And do you think that they're still gonna do that final 5 new beach thing where they get like an advantage to the final 5 immunity? I guess.
I hope not. I imagine that will probably be another vote coming up in the next few weeks. This last challenge, which is the one I voted for, we had it, I think, for season 45 or 6, where they dropped a ball into this like Tetris looking board, and then they had to complete a puzzle and then they had to grab the ball.
Great. That's fun. I love that.
That one's good.
That's good.
That one's fine. I just think such a missed opportunity. Why don't they just do hand on a heart idol? Go back to season 1. The nostalgia is there. It's the best challenge for the final challenge. It's who wants it more, and that's it.
They did it on Australian Survivor, and it was like a similar one, anyways. And that was a pretty awesome finale. I think it was season 2 or 1 of the new era of Australian Survivor. Anyways, I do think that going to who wants it more type challenge is also great. But if we're only choosing between these, like I like one where I can see what's going on. I can solve the puzzle at the same time. I can be like, oh my God, it's gonna fall, it's gonna drop. Like, you know what I mean? I could be involved in the drop the puzzle, the ball one. But I agree with you though. Who wants it the most? It would be a great way to maybe cheap, and I would like to see who wants it most.
Yeah, to me, the best 2 challenges of all time, final challenges, are Borneo, simple, and Palau, when they had to hold on to those like buoys in the ocean. And it was Ian and Tom just at it for like 14 hours. And they're just like, it's like the middle of the night, they're clinging on there. And then eventually Tom kind of convinces Ian to drop, and Ian loses the game because of it. Like to me, like that stuff where it's like the mental draining for hours and hours is just such like a sweet conclusion.
I think it's because production does not want to film people for 14 hours.
But Jeff, it's season 50. Just do it one night. Yeah, so those are the votes so far. I'm curious to see what we get next. But I think we're on the same page for everything here. Mm-hmm. Now, some stuff that we know about the casting process so far. So I'll just kind of run through this before we get to the names. So Jeff said that he started off with a list of 200 names where all the producers just put together anyone that they wanted to see. He cut it down to 100 and then to 70 in February. And now they're in the final cuts. He also mentioned that they are going to go back to the beginning. So it's not just going to be new era. It seems like there's going to be no winners. Nobody has explicitly said that, but that's kind of the speculation. And then per Stephen Fishback, he said that a lot of new school players are being cut for people that have been playing 3+ times. So it's not going to be a second chance season, seemingly. Anything can change. And recently, there's been word that there's only a couple of players from the new era. I heard 3 or 4 players from the new era, which was a bit of a surprise. And to answer your question before, cast is going to be flying out in mid-May, so about 6 weeks from now. Filming begins the first week of June. And Redmond, who does all the casting spoilers, says that the cast is close to being finalized. And they're in the medical and psych stage now. So we're getting there. It's like we won't know who the alternates are until probably end of May. But I imagine we have a pretty good idea of the cast within, like, by the end of April.
Yeah, so I definitely have been just kind of hearing around, some people have been talks, and it's been a pretty, lengthy process of like lots of videos, interviews, videos. And so people that are part of that 200 have put in a lot of work. And so I'm happy that at least it's starting to be finalized, because a lot of people have been really excited about the potential of being a part of 50, and so at least finding out definitively yes or no is coming to an end now is good. I can't wait to find out for sure who's going to be on it, so we can start talking about the whole process.
Oh yeah, we'll have to do, once the actual cast comes out, we'll have to hop back on again and talk.
We'll do a real draft.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. But to get to some of the cuts, which have been surprising, these are 6 like big cuts that they have come out and said like, hey, they cut me. Jessie Lopez and Carolyn, so 2 new era stars who I thought were pretty well locks to be on the cast. I did a video on this channel a couple weeks ago where I went through who I thought was going to be on, and they were 2 locks for me. So definitely surprised to see them go. And then Coach, Spencer, Cass, and Rome, another new era. Rome is not as surprising, I would say, but Coach, Spencer, Cass, I think 3 names that are pretty big names. And the fact that we know they were in the mix and then cut is a little bit surprising. But how do you feel about these 6?
I'm like gutted for Jessie. He was one of the new era players that I've been like, I wish that, because he got stumped by the fire, right? Like he didn't win fire, and that's how he kind of really lost his shot. Like I would just like to see him play again, because he had a strategic mind. I've met him in person, and I think he's like a great human being, and like I would love to have seen him play again and see with a new dynamic how he would fare if he'd be able to be as successful as he was his first season. So definitely gutted. Obviously gutted for Carolyn. She's so entertaining. She made it to the final 3. She's still like a very good player, even though she might seem as though she's, not as strategic as maybe some other people in cast. But I can't believe that they took her out. She's so popular right now. Do you think that's why? Like she's everybody loves Carolyn right now. Why would she not be part of the season?
I think Probst is a little butthurt about her doing Traders. And doing it like so soon before 50, where it's like, damn, well, like you're getting all this fame from Traders right now, and now we're gonna go film 50 in 2 months or 3 months after Traders ended. I think Probst is not happy about it, but like the fact that they cut her when she's probably the biggest personality from the 40s, it is a shame, and she definitely wanted to be there. So Jessie as well. I mean, Jessie was like a great player, a great strategist. To me, like Carolyn is just like the personality is like it's a personality for days. So that those 2 really shocked me, and it is disappointing.
Coach here, like I just saw him. He was on, I believe, Tyson's podcast, so I watched a little bit of that. I don't know if I need to see Coach again, because he's played a few times, right? Like at least twice.
Yeah, he's played 3 times.
3 times, yeah.
So I'm good on Coach too.
I'm fine with Coach not playing again. I was surprised by Spencer. I did see Spencer and Cass both posted on Twitter, I believe. And I was surprised that Spencer was in the mix, just because I felt that he was saying that he would never play again. And he kind of was talking about his mental health challenges, that he had some of them to do with the show and maybe some of it outside of the show. And so I was surprised that he was in the mix. But if he was going to play again, I would love to see him, because I definitely thought that he had a great mind for the game. And I don't remember exactly how things went down with him, but like he would have been somebody that I would like to see come back and play again and right all his wrongs and whatnot. Obviously, Cass, like, she's a legend. I definitely would love to see her play again. Even her cutting remarks on Twitter, like, she still has that, like, that feistiness. That she's a lawyer, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I think she was. I think she might be a professor now. I think she might teach law.
Fair. But, like, I wanna see her again, because
Yeah,
she was so smart, and, like, she didn't like to get pushed around by Tony. Like, it just I would like to see her play again, for sure. Rome, we know that I'm not a fan of Rome, so
yeah.
I'm not happy to see him. I'm happy, this is fine for me.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, the big ones are Carolyn and Cass. Like, those are the ones that upset me. Jesse is close third. Coach and Spencer, honestly, I think I'm okay with. I think, like, we've seen enough. Spencer, like, he got to go to the final three in a second go around. I definitely like Spencer a lot more in his first showing.
That's true.
But I do think, like, I wouldn't mind seeing Spencer there. But yeah, Carolyn and Cass, to me, it just sucks.
It's wild.
But now onto the speculative cast. Boston Rob and Amber are not part of it. But again, this is just based on speculation, cuts, word of mouth. Nothing is finalized. So this was, I believe, it came from Meridian Review on
Mhm.
Twitter and YouTube. I think they were the ones that put together a lot of this info. So again, grain of salt. We'll see how much of it is accurate. But
I have another list here too that I screenshot, so I will see if it's the
okay,
same
nice.
list. I haven't looked
Yeah.
properly yet, though.
So first up, Q. Just for starters, I went from the new era folks first down to kind of the OGs.
Great.
Q, I think, is someone like definitely should be there. He along with Carolyn would have been the two locks from the new era for me.
I totally agree. I feel like Q, as much as he was a bit polarizing in the beginning of his season, the more that you get to know him, like, the more that you want to see what is he going to do. He always had such good sound bites, like, even with him, sending cameo, like, everything that Q has brought about his journey on Survivor has been entertaining, and I would like to see how he entertains. So I do
Yeah.
think that Q is an excellent choice. We kind of knew as soon as we heard that season 50 was happening that Q would be a standout, and I did expect him to be on this cast. I was worried that maybe Survivor or CBS would think that Rome is who we'd want more, but I was like, phew, okay, good to know that Q is the one that prevails here between the two of them guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Q is just an awesome slam dunk choice. Definitely over Rome. Next, Say. So this one I'm a little bit more hesitant to believe this one just because we don't know how this season is going to unfold. Um, I would love to see her back though. I think it would be another slam dunk, like a big personality similar to a Q, where they're just like out there, like they are underratedly strategic, but also like a force in the game, personality wise. So I wouldn't mind this one. I'm like taking this one a little bit more of a grain of salt, though.
Yeah, because I mean, she's definitely been impactful, but I don't know how the longevity that I see in her game. And it seems as though most people she's rubbing the wrong way. And if I look at how Jeff recently has been saying, oh, we don't want any villains, and we want people that are here for the love of the game, I would classify her as kind of a villain. So I just wouldn't think that she would be who would be their first choice, from the new era. So I'm curious.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This one, oh come on! I kind of think it is going to be true, but put him on the challenge. Like I'll take him there. He's fine. Like let him go do a hall brawl against Fessy. I don't need to see him on season 50 of Survivor though.
I'm like very disappointed here. There's nothing about his gameplay that I like.
Yeah,
I don't care that he can lift a log. I don't care that he carried his entire tribe on his back. Like, I don't care. I didn't enjoy him in the game.
yeah, and like unless they're just gonna put like a
Like
massive dude on each
Jesse
drive.
is out and this guy's in.
And they
That
were the
that
same
hurt.
season, right?
Hmm?
He was the same season as Jesse? Or was it a different season?
Yeah.
Oh, no. He
No, no,
wasn't
no,
a
no.
Marianne season.
Yeah, correct.
But still, like, yeah, I mean, just give us Jesse. He's more entertaining. He's a strategist. Let Jonathan go on CBS Challenge or MTV Challenge. But come on, Jeff.
That's a flop.
Yeah, Genevieve is interesting. I love Genevieve. I'm a little surprised, like that she would make the cut here, though, especially when there are just, in my opinion, bigger personalities. I mean, Carolyn, we talked about. I think someone like Emily Flippin I would personally cast. Shan is someone I would definitely cast over Genevieve. That said, like I do think Genevieve is a pretty solid player, like wouldn't be a horrible choice. But if they are only casting 3 or 4 people from the 40s, I would be a little surprised, but maybe pleasantly surprised that Genevieve would be one of them.
I mean, I think it might be a bit of recency bias here with Genevieve. She was kind of like one of the players to never win new era. Like, everybody's rooting for Genevieve. Also, maybe they need to have a little Canadian content in here. I don't know, but I'm happy to see her here. I am surprised that she got the spot over Carolyn. I'm just wondering if maybe she interviews better. You know what I mean? Maybe she was able to prove to them why she'd be a better choice than some of the other people. And maybe that's just kind of how they were narrowing it down.
Yeah. And I also wonder if maybe they look at Genevieve as someone who, and I would agree with this, someone who has a ton of win equity on a second season. To me, like someone like Carolyn or Emily or Shan, who all 3 would be great personalities for the season, I think they would have a much harder time winning season 50. Whereas Genevieve is someone who could kind of fly under the radar a little bit. I mean, we see in returning player seasons a lot, the winners end up being someone you don't really expect. I mean, Amber won the first returning player season. And then Parvati, who at the time was under the radar, who else has won? I mean, we saw Sandra won, which was pretty surprising. So Sarah Lucina, it's like these women often that are a little bit more under the radar. So I wonder if that is something that they would consider.
Maybe they want her to win. Maybe that's a really good point. I don't. Does Sharon want to be involved? I don't know if she was part of the 200 folks that were eligible, but I thought she wasn't really interested in doing Survivor anymore.
Yeah, at the end I put a couple slides together of people I've kind of heard rumblings about being in the mix, but it's like very loosely. She is one of them. I don't think she has come out and flat out said I don't want to do it or that she was cut. So it is again possible that she is in the mix still, but I haven't heard much from Shan since her brief stay on the Challenge USA.
Just on social media stuff, but that's about it.
Yeah, but I would love to see Shan. And I would love to see Genevieve. It just kind of surprised me a little bit.
Definitely.
This one, it's expected. More expected than Jonathan, I would say. So I can't be too mad at it. He hosted the podcast with Jeff. I mean, we knew we were going to see him again. I'm not a big Rick Devens fan. To me, he is kind of like a slightly more appetizing version of like Ben Driebergen, where the game is kind of like very much in his favor. Him losing to Chris Underwood at the end is so funny to me. But I definitely am not surprised that Rick will likely be there.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, when I was talking before, I was like, I think I saw that he was on the list. I was talking about him being that I would like to see his game in the sense to not be trumped by like somebody who played 11 days in the game, comes back with an idol, decides to win. Well, he wins another idol, puts himself in fire, and then comes and steals a win from him who played a pretty good game. So I was curious to see how he would actually play a second time around, because he did a pretty solid job in the end, but circumstances and twists made him lose. So I am interested in seeing him play again, but yeah. I could see other people before him for sure.
Yeah, to me, this is just like a very obvious pick, which is probably part of the reason I'm not super excited about it. But I mean, he'll be there. I know it. So let's just brace ourselves for that. Now, she needs to
That's
be
good.
there. We last saw Angelina on season 2 of The White Lotus, which was awesome. Angelina is like someone, what we were talking about earlier, like someone that just didn't get a chance to come back because of circumstance. She would have been a lock for season 40 if it wasn't all winners. And she should be a lock for season 50. And I am praying that this is accurate.
I would love to see Angelina back. You know, she's getting the jacket, like your jacket, like that line will live forever in all of our heads. Like she's part of the zeitgeist of Survivor. We need to see her play again. Is she also an attorney, a lawyer?
I believe so. Yeah, I don't know if she had a career change. She's welcomed a family now, so I don't. I don't know if she has one kid or two kids, but she'd be coming back as a mother, which I think is always like a fun storyline as well. When we see it a lot on the challenge, where like you come back as a parent and you feel like you have a lot more to play for. Not that she didn't play hard before, but I could see her kind of tightening some things up and actually being a little bit more of a force now that she's got a few years under her belt.
And she inspired Jeff's rice negotiations, right? Like that,
Yeah.
like if she didn't come up with that, we wouldn't be seeing it every season now, I think. So
She had so many good moments. I mean, the jacket, the rice negotiation, climbing the ladder to get the idol. She was just TV gold from start to finish. So don't F this up, Survivor, and make sure she's there.
who do you think? Well, okay, well, maybe we'll talk about it at the end who we think she would be working with if they're on the same tribe type of
Yeah,
thing.
well, the next two people I think she would definitely be working with. One being Christian.
I love Christian Hibiki.
Yeah, another White Lotus star from season 3, this current
Mhm.
season. Christian is another person that is and should be a lock as long as his schedule permits it. He should be there, will be there. He's so involved in the community. I mean, he's on RHAP as much as anyone. And
Have you been watching him play Blood in the Clock Tower? He's also so good on that. So
No.
RGP has been doing, I think it's done 3 now, either 2 or no, I think 3 survivors play Blood in the Clock Tower, and you know, he's usually playing him, Marianne, you know, there's Franny, there's a few standouts that have been playing, and we've been watching them play, and he's so good at it. So yeah, I love watching Christian. I think he's just so smart. He's so interesting with how his mind works and his like everything about him is entertaining for me. And I would love to see him on this season, and I would expect to see him there.
Yeah. This one I'm a little bit more iffy on. Not that I don't want him there. I just don't know how realistic it is that we get Angelina, Christian, and Davey from the same season.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think, sadly, Davey would be the odd one out. But I love Davey.
I love Davey as well. Like I do appreciate him doing you know, the diversity initiative for Survivor. Like he's definitely very a big voice in the community in that regard. And you know, where's Davey? Like we need to have his mom come for another visit and you know, give another great soundbite for the show. I don't know if I see him actually being there, but he wants to be there. And so
Yeah.
I definitely don't mind people that are really excited about Survivor and really want to be part of it. And so if he's there, great. I agree, though. I don't think that they would bring all 3 of them from the same season back for this season. And I agree with you, too, that if they were to lose one, it would be him.
Yeah, I wonder. I know he was an alternate for Trader season 3. So I would love to see him, like, give him a shot on Trader season 4. That would be cool if they want to go someone a little newer. I wonder if he is potentially going to be in the mix as an alternate for season 50, where it's like, hey, maybe Christian can't go, then Davey is his replacement. That I could definitely see. But I think I think I'd be a little surprised if he actually made the cut.
Agreed.
Now, this one, if Sydney was on this cast, another one I'm a little bit hesitant to believe because like she's kind of been MIA since Co Wrong, which has been 10 years now. But if they were going in their bag to bring back some people that were one and done, that are iconic characters, competitors,
She's
strategists.
Michelle's season, right?
Yeah, Michelle's season. It was yeah, she got cut at final. She actually lost fire making before fire making was a thing to Aubrey. Ty ended up forcing fire making to save Aubrey, and then Sydney was in line to potentially win that season. And then we never saw her again, and we really haven't heard from her since. But I love Sydney, and again, if she can't do 50, put her on the challenge as well.
For sure, put her on the challenge. I don't fully remember. I remember loving her, and I remember like being irritated when she went out. Whenever I wanted her to win, I think I wanted her and Aubrey to be the two people that potentially were winning. Sorry, Michelle. But yeah, so I don't really remember her that much, though, because this season was a little bit a while ago. We haven't seen her back on another show to have any flashbacks of like what she did on her season. But I remember really liking her. I remember thinking she was super strong, and like I think she had a strategic mind, if I remember correctly, or she grew into one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll see her for sure. She definitely was a standout for her season.
Yeah, she was she started the game off as kind of like the third fiddle with Scott and Jason. And then once they merged or tribe swapped and Scott and Jason kind of took Ty under their wing, Sydney started to like lead the other side of the game against them, alongside Aubrey. And then towards the end, her and Aubrey kind of went in different directions. So Sydney is like the type of player that is always playing to win, which I love. And she will do what's best for her no matter what, which I think is all you can really ask for in a reality contestant. So if we can get her, great. And on the subject of Sydney and Co Wrong, this one, I mean, Ty, we've seen play twice. To me, like Ty is an awesome character. It's just like, I just don't know what else we're going to get from Ty. I think we saw the same Ty 2 different seasons. Very emotional, very good at finding idols, like underrated at challenges. A good personality, but I just don't know if there's more to Ty.
I mean, he did inspire the Sia vote or the Sia money prize. So that was pretty innovative of him, legendary, we'll say, of him. But I will have to agree with you. As much as I enjoyed him, I liked him. I even liked him when he returned his first time. I don't know if I need to see anything else. Like, I don't know if he has anything else to share with me or show me.
Yeah.
He's nice.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Okay.
Are you okay?
I know we want mostly second chance people, but if we're going to get someone for a third chance, it's like Abby Maria is a perfect candidate. She is so chaotic and probably has no chance of winning, but I think she has mellowed down a little bit. She's another like frequent appearer on RHAP. I love listening to her. She obviously still keeps up with the show. I think she's settled down and is either married or in a long-term relationship now. So I think we could see a different side of Abby, but she would like the Brazilian dragon is still going to come out, and that is needed.
You know what though? What I think happens when they come back on these shows, who they were back then will resurface. The paranoia will set in, and it'll come back out. So the Abby Maria that we know and love will be there for you, Matthew. I think that she is 100% a lock on a person that should be coming back. If she gets cut, like they don't know how to cast anymore.
Yeah, and she's not declining it. She said she would do it. Even as recently, I saw today on Twitter, Janelle had posted like, "We need Abby Maria," and Abby Maria responded saying like, "Fingers crossed," or I'm hoping I make the cut. So she wants to be there, and they should not be cutting her. A friend of Abby Maria's from her first season, that is rumored, 3-time player now, Malcolm. How do you feel about Malcolm making appearance number 4?
It's okay. No, it's not that excited about it. I liked him. He was obviously good at challenges. Nice guy. I think I've seen enough from him, but
Yeah,
underwhelming.
I think to me, like Malcolm is the same archetype as like the Aussies and Joe Anglam's, but he offers a little bit more, as in like he's got a bit more brain to him. So I wouldn't hate it. It is like kind of something I would expect if they want to go with like kind of the alpha bro type of dude. He's not the worst option in that archetype. So
but
wouldn't
I've seen
hate
him
it.
play a lot.
Yeah, we've seen like 4 times. It's kind of enough for me on Malcolm, but to me, it would be better than Ozzy, I will say. And not that I dislike Ozzy, it's just more
Ozzy's
inspired.
hot though. You're like,
well, definitely better than Joe Anglam. We don't need Joe Anglam for sure. I think the ship has sailed on that one.
Yeah. This is crazy, really?
Yeah, this has been gaining a lot of steam where a lot of people in the Survivor world, as in players, are speculating Amanda should and would come back. Parvati mentioned it a few weeks ago that she wants and thinks Amanda will be on the cast. Todd Herzog, when he was on RHAP, also echoed the same thing where he would not be surprised to see her there. So these people that have a relationship with her seem to be kind of dropping hints that she might be there. And I believe Redmond had said that someone from China is expected to be on the cast. And to me, Amanda does make a lot of sense. I would probably prefer Courtney Yates.
Yes.
But to me, Amanda would be kind of somewhat fun and nostalgic to come back.
She came second twice, correct?
Yeah.
That's her claim to fame.
Yeah.
And she had the island relationship with Ozzy.
Yes. And she did come back for Heroes Villains as well.
So she's been 3 times?
Yeah, this would be time 4 for her. She played 3 times in the span of 5 seasons, though, which is pretty crazy.
I mean, I'm okay with seeing her. Like, I'm not upset that she's going to be there. I'm curious as to how she would play. You know, she's good at Survivor, and we'll see how she's good at this new era. I feel like there's some other people that I would be a little bit more excited by, but like kind of like you said, Courtney would be more fun. Even like Sugar, or you know, there's just some more people that are like could take up this spot that we haven't seen in a while. But
yeah,
I'm okay with it being her. But
yeah, I think Amanda has like a lot of lore around her. Like she's got like a cult following almost. I mean, she's like, she was a young, like very attractive woman that like was a favorite of men for sure. But I think also like, I think like the Twitterverse has become obsessed with Amanda over the years, and Reddit has become obsessed with her. So I think there is a lot of calling for her to come back. So wouldn't hate that one. Here's one kind of throwback, but we have seen her a bit as well. I mean, we saw her on Traders recently, season 1.
Snake in the Grass.
Yeah, she's also a 3-time player. To me, like I would prefer Amanda over Stephanie.
Agreed.
But Stephanie is someone I kind of see the writing on the wall that she will be there.
Really? Well, I mean, I really liked her first season. Obviously, she was the underdog, and like I was rooting for her. When she came back, I remember not being that excited about her, and then she came back again after that, right? Like I guess I really liked her first season.
Yeah.
and then I didn't really love her that much after. I didn't care for her gameplay on the Traders. Definitely didn't care for it on Snake in the Grass. And so, yeah, I'm just like not as big a fan of hers as I was when her first season. And so I don't need to see her again personally, but.
Yeah, to me, this is like just kind of fishing for big names where, to what we've been saying before, like they don't necessarily have to go that route. It's like someone like T-Bird would be a lot more fun to me than
I love T-Bird
4 times Stephanie. But here we go. Now,
there we go.
Here's one that we need. We've both been hearing. He's been kind of back in the mix the last few years. He was part of the diversity initiative. He's been kind of making some appearances on RHAP, and I think Sean Rector, long overdue. Get him on the island, and don't cut him. Don't make him an alternate. Don't piss us off.
And I really just hope that they put him in a dynamic that he will just be able to get his footing in and potentially thrive. Like I don't want him to be the first boot in the end because, you know, nobody knows who he is or whatnot. I just hope that he's able to like get an opportunity to actually play the game again, which means that he better get on it this season.
Yeah.
He's somebody that's been really, really dying to play again, and it's been pretty shitty that he hasn't had that opportunity. Him and Vesepia, is wild that both of them have not had an opportunity to play again, or even the phone call, it seems. So I'm happy you got the phone call. Now put him on the island because I want to see what he's got to offer.
Yeah, and he's like super charismatic. He looks to be in great shape still. He's probably early 50s, but he looks great. And yeah, he wants to be there. I honestly think like he could thrive, especially if it's not all these like new school kids. I think he would do I think he could do pretty well out there. And I mean, Suri, we expect her to be there. It is like kind of someone, if they're not going to do winners, like it's this monumental season. I think this will be time 5 for her on Survivor, plus Snake on the Grass, plus Traders, plus Big Brother. It'll be her 8th reality show, I believe, unless I might be missing one as well.
Like she probably did like a Price is Right one time. Like there's probably a couple others that she's done. I don't know if she did or not, but I'm sure there might be 1 or 2 more that we're just forgetting right now. Oh, and she's going to be on Australia versus the World, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. So it will be her 9th reality show by the time it comes around, competition reality show, which is pretty crazy to think. And I love Suri. I just worry, like you put Suri out there. I've heard people talking about Suri. I think Danny McRae, our friend Danny, was on Tyson's podcast, and Tyson asked, like, what would you do if you were out there with Boston Rob? And he said, oh, I would get Rob out immediately. And he said, what about Suri? And he said, well, I'd work with Suri, but I would cut her as we get towards the end because no one wants to go to the end with her. And I just think that's kind of the problem. Like, we're going to get Suri out there. She'll last like halfway through the game because people want to work with her. They don't want to piss off the fans. And then she's going to lose right towards the end. Yep. And I would just kind of rather see a new face if that's going to be the case.
100% agree. I love Suri. Suri is definitely one of my favorite Survivor players. I think there has been a couple seasons where she should have won, but like it wasn't her season to win in the end. Like Advantage Geddon was crazy. She was in such a good position and she went out because she didn't have a trinket. So annoying. But I do feel like she's done all that she can do on American Survivor. I think it's it, right? Like what else can she do? She's not going to win. There's no way that she's going to win.
Yeah.
If she wins, then I eat my words completely. But I
think the best case scenario is Suri comes into it and she says like, yeah, I'm not going to win. So I'm going guns blazing. Like I'm going to work with let's recreate the Black Widow Brigade. Hey, like Abby Maria, come here. Stephanie, Amanda, come here. Like we're going to like take out these men and we're going to slit throats. That would be the most fun version. But I think like Suri is also too smart to like put her game on the line immediately like that. So, I'll never complain if Suri is on a cast, but yeah, I'm just a little worried about what more there is.
She's very good friends with Stephanie, so that's a locked in strong duo that I don't think she would, even though she got screwed up by her on the Traders, I don't think that on Survivor that they would screw each other over. And so that could be helpful to have like a locked in person to get you far. So I don't see her winning. I don't, but maybe she can make a deep run in this game. Maybe old school can take out all the new school people and they can have a fighting chance at the end.
Yeah. I'd love that. Okay, another old school person that's played 3 times. This one is interesting. Colby Donaldson, the original heartthrob. Is that what he's known as? The Texas Ranger.
Oh, I don't know the heartthrob, but like
Captain America.
Yeah, kind of Captain America or like All American hottie.
Yeah. So I think Colby is interesting. If they want to go the nostalgia route, like there isn't many people better than Colby. He was the most popular contestant on the most popular season of Survivor, being the Outback. So if you want to get like older viewers back in, I think Colby is like a great face and name to throw out there. I don't know, like strategically, if like Colby is gonna fit in super well in this new era. Even on Heroes Villains, like he went far, but he was kind of a fish out of water. He wasn't as like physically strong then. He looks great now from what I can see on Instagram and whatnot. But again, this is like similar to Suri. It's not something I would complain about just because there is that like nostalgia factor. But I just don't know like what more we're gonna get from Colby now 25 years later.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it is just to get the draw of like the older fans, which is fine because there are a lot of people that really loved Colby. I remember thinking he was so cute, and Jeff loved him so much. And so I want to see what it will be like, if maybe the dynamic even with Jeff and Colby. See if he still has that, like, so what are you even doing, man? Like, oh, it's just so like that'll be fun to see that kind of interaction of familiarity of 25 years.
Yeah.
But strategically and game wise, I'm not really that excited, but nostalgia, I'll take it.
Colby is like someone that his role on the show is going to be, and it's sad to say this, and RIP to him, but like he's going to be like the Keith Nail of Survivor 50, which is crazy. Like imagine like looking at Colby in his mid 20s in the early 2000s, and it's like, yeah, he is going to be Keith Nail on season 50 of Survivor. Like age wise, it's about the same. He's not going to know what he's doing. Someone's going to have to like wrangle him in and like tell him what to do.
Stick to the plan.
Yeah, like Keith, like you have to do this. Like someone is going to be his Natalie Anderson, and it's like the great almighty Colby is Keith Nail now.
I mean, that's fun.
Yeah, it is kind of fun. Now that I say it, I'm kind of down to see it.
Yeah, I want to see him be the old man instead of the heartthrob.
Yeah, and you can't have a season with Colby without Maneater Manthe.
This is a good pick. Okay, yeah. I'm happy about this. I haven't seen. Well, she's been on some stuff earlier on, close to when she was super famous. Like, did she do like the Maxim or Playboy or whatever with like some other Survivor women fan favorites?
Yeah, she was on Surreal Life as well, so she was big. Like, I mean, for what Colby was like the good angel on your shoulder, and Jerry was the devil on your shoulder. Kind of wrongfully villainized early on. And then she later kind of owned up to being a villainess. But Colby and Jerry have been on 3 seasons, all 3 of them together. Their dynamic is super fun.
She had a crush on him, right?
Yeah, she had a crush on him early on, and he kind of brushed her off. I don't think anything ever happened off screen, but who knows? Maybe back in the day it did.
Maybe it's time is now. Are they single?
I think Colby's married. I'm not sure about Jerry, but seeing them back together would be really fun. I just hope if they put them on a season together, put them on the same tribe. Like, who cares? We don't need to split them up. We don't need to risk like one of them going early and we don't get the dynamic. So I'm really excited about Jerry potentially being there and seeing what she's been up to the last 15 years since we saw her.
Will she still be wearing that hat?
She better. She
has to.
She's got to wear the dark hat, and Colby's got to wear the cowboy hat, the light cowboy.
I'm definitely happy with Jerry being there. She was such a character that really made Survivor. And it's interesting though, like I said before, how Jeff doesn't want to have villains. She was the original villainess, and so I mean, I'm happy to have her there. And it's just surprising that Jeff says one thing and is doing another. Like, maybe he doesn't really mean that he doesn't want villains on the show.
So one thing that I've heard is that CBS has kind of like stepped in and kind of vetoed Jeff in a way, where Jeff wanted more like new school heavy or like a new school versus old school. And CBS was the one that decided like, no, we want legends. So I wonder if maybe CBS is saying, hey, like we want Stephanie and Jerry, who are more kind of villain type roles, Abby Maria, where Jeff is more of the kind of like, I want the heroes, I want the Colbys. But CBS is saying, all right, we'll give you the Colbys, but we want the Jerrys and the Abbeys as well.
Yeah, I want to see the people that when they were playing, it was just so raw and real for them. I don't know what the difference is with old school and new school. It could be the faster pace. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like it was just so much more dynamic between these characters, and like these villains were really able to flourish and grow. I don't think you can actually harvest a villain in this new era, really. Can you? Like, I don't feel like there's anybody that I care that was like as polarizing of a villain as Jerry Manthe kind of became, or as Abby Maria. Like, there's nobody really like that new era, right?
Yeah, not at all. I mean, even like the villains are like more like complex personalities. I'd say like someone like Shan, I wouldn't classify her as a villain straight up, but I guess like in this era, she would be one of the more villainous players, and she's more complex personality than just straight up villain.
So I'm just like wonder what was different. Is it just the amount of days that are on, and like, or it's a type of casting of the people, or the
I think it's
type of game
casting.
it's casting?
Yeah, I think like they're hyper focused on casting more like super fans now who are more like hyper aware of their surroundings and like social media as well. So I think people are a little bit more reluctant to like be a villain and make
Mm.
these like big, like they'll make big moves, but it's all in like good fun. Whereas like that, like you'll never get a Russell Hantz again, which is probably for the best. But I think it's like a step below that. Like you'll never get like a new Abby Maria on screen or a Cass on screen, which does suck because those are villains that are not like evil in their hearts, but they are willing to be evil in the game.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to see Jerry come back. Hopefully she'll still have some of her villainous ways. And with that, I hope that it informs maybe the new era of Survivor after, so the 50s, that maybe we want to have more villainous players. You know, like maybe like the casting might change up a little bit. So
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah. And we have a couple more going back from Survivor Borneo. So Jervis, which is interesting. He came back in 27 and made it to the final
Tyson?
three. Yeah, he was kind of like Tyson's henchman. I think they definitely are wanting to go back to the early days. And I think the tough part is like there's not many options from Borneo that are willing to play again that would make sense. Like someone that I mentioned, Greg Buis, I don't think he wants to do it. Colleen, I don't think wants to do it. Wigglesworth, like she came back and flopped. So I think Jervis is someone that is pretty interesting. I wouldn't hate this. I just like wasn't super impressed with his like game on 27.
Yeah, I mean, I liked him and Tyson, but I don't know if it's just because I really love Tyson, you know?
Mhm.
I don't mind seeing him come back, but I do feel like there could be some other people that I would maybe be more excited about, but I'm okay with this. It was a C plus.
Yeah, yeah. And then Jenna Lewis, which is another interesting one. She played twice, but I mean, it's been so long that like we can kind of loop those in together. It's been 20 years. Um, I wouldn't hate this one. I know she's still a big fan. I think she would play hard. She played really hard on All Stars and was kind of a villain on All Stars. So I wouldn't hate this as like a, hey, let's see what they can do here.
Yeah, me too. She was also another Playboy model for Survivor people, right?
I don't know.
I think so. Anyways, she was definitely very, 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 very popular, if I remember correctly, from when she first played her first two times. And I'm happy to see her here again. I haven't heard that much about her. I'm happy that she's still a fan of the show. I'm fine with seeing her again. I don't know what to expect, but I'm happy to see what I get.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like it's just kind of like a blast from the past that could be interesting and it's worth the gamble. There are some people, like other names that I've heard. This is Elizabeth Hasselbeck really took me by surprise, but I saw like a pretty like reputable source saying that Elizabeth Hasselbeck was in conversations where they desperately want her. She obviously went on to like be on The View. She's pretty well known, and I thought Survivor is definitely well past her. But I believe like it was either Redmond or Meridian said that she is like being heavily considered, and it is possible, which is crazy.
I mean, I hadn't heard him when I mentioned her before. I thought it was like completely a far-fetched idea. Um, Not that I agree with her views per se, but I loved her and Roger on their season. And I really was rooting for her like when she played. So I would like to see what she would be like now that she's kind of become a mother, a wife, a celebrity, and just to see if she will at least maybe fall back into some of the things that I really liked about her when she played the first time. So
Yeah.
I would be happy to see her play.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. I think Rupert Sierra, we can kind of like gloss over that.
Over it.
Yeah.
I didn't even want him to come back the second time. Who was the last person?
Sierra Easton.
Oh,
Yeah, kind of done with that. Like these three, like interesting names.
David Wright, sure. Chrissy,
Yeah.
sure. Dominic, sure.
Yeah, these are ones like I would not be opposed to it. Honestly, I think Dom and David, I would say like put one of them on over like Ty Trang maybe or Malcolm.
I
That
agree.
or both of them over those two. Chrissy, I would not
100%.
be opposed to. I feel
Chrissy
like
got
Chrissy,
screwed out of her season, I think.
yeah, she probably would have won. And I think Chris, I do worry maybe like it's past her a bit and she's not going to get the call. A few others from the new era, Shan, Ricard, Cassidy. Haven't heard that they've been dropped or declined. I have heard that they have been in the mix. So wouldn't be shocked to see them pop up and would honestly love to see any of them there.
Yeah, I mean, I was a big fan of Ricard and Shan. Their dynamic duo. They both have like the mind for the game, and even Cassidy. She grew on me, and I was rooting for her in the end. And so, all three of them, I would be interested in to see how they would play again. And so, I'm kind of sad that neither of them are in the mix or like actually going to be on it. Hopefully, the rumors aren't true and that they actually will be on the show.
Yeah, I think like it would be a missed opportunity to not have Shannon Ricard together on the season too. Like I do think one of them on their own could still be fun, but that's like a dynamic I'd like to see now 5 years later. And then the last few, or there's a couple more after this, but a few other new era ones: Caleb, Emily, Charlie. Again, 3 people I think well deserving, but it seems like the theme might hurt them here.
So what do you think the theme is?
More I think it's going to be legends. Yeah.
Yeah, like out of these 3, I think Emily the strongest, then Caleb, then Charlie. But I would be decently happy to see all 3 of them.
Yeah. And then the actual last 3, I think Andy is someone that you're quite familiar with. Venus and Thomas. Thomas, I think probably not in the cards. Really fun personality this season. I just think like we're not getting him on when he was on 4 episodes of season 48. Venus is really fun personality. Kind of like I could see her and Abby Maria really like being fun together. Probably unlikely. I think the most likely here is probably Andy. Mm-hmm. But I know you obviously know Andy. How do you feel about these 3 and Andy in particular?
Okay, I haven't heard anything or any rumblings. I would assume that he would be in the mix potentially just because of Operation Italy and just the impact that he made on his season. And if Jeff has his way, he loves this underdog story, and I feel like he would love to see Andy have it play out even further. So I could see Andy actually getting the call for sure. I would love it for it to be Thomas because I feel like he got swap screwed, and I think that if he played a second time, he would do better because he would go with his gut and not allow him to, be steered in a different direction by somebody else's opinions. Like, you know what I mean? And so I would love for him to get a second chance. I just don't think it would be 50. And Venus, I mean, Venus, maybe they could put on this season. I would take Venus over Say personally. But I don't know if she's she hasn't been involved from what I know in any of the RHAP recaps or going on any other channel. So I don't know how much she's into playing again, but I'd be happy to see any of them play again for 50.
Yeah, I'd be happy with all three as well. I think Venus is a lot of potential to be a super fun villain on a second go. She kind of wasn't really well liked by her cast, if I recall. And she just didn't really fit in there, but she still made it pretty far, went home with an idol in her pockets. Having her with Q on the season would be fun. So I would really love that. And yeah, Andy's obviously brings a lot of strategy. He's the numbers guy, had a really nice fleshed out story. So I think him coming in now with that added confidence would be pretty scary as a player.
Absolutely. And I would love to see it happen for him. That would be so it'd just be so awesome because he's been a Super Saiyan fan for so long, and we've obviously seen his journey on his first season. And I would love, probably Jeff would love to see him do well again to show that, you know what, you're actually pretty good at this. Because I think he would do well on another go around. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this was a lot of fun. Any kind of last thoughts on Survivor as a whole, where we're headed?
I'm trying to see. I think that everybody on the list that I had, we spoke about everybody that was on here. So, so maybe this rumored list is true. I guess I'd have to say that I'm a little bit disappointed in a few picks. Looking back now, Jonathan, Malcolm, Ty. I'm not so plussed about.
It's always the men. It's always the men that's the problem. And the challenge too. We talk about it all the time. The men casting is tragic, and the women always carry the show. Survivor, Big Brother, The Challenge.
But yeah, I'm just not excited about seeing any of those games. I am, even though I'm not excited about seeing those three guys. I do think that if this cast is true, it will be a fun season. Yeah. I can't imagine it won't be a flop by any means. So I'm looking forward to season 50. I really wish that they would just make it 39 days again. I really just do. I know they're not going to. No, Jeff said financially that the network's not going to do it. But I guess the reason why I like it is because you get that extra day of bonding, the extra day of strategizing. And we might not see it, but it changes the relationships that people have. And I think that that's important for having these epic moments. It doesn't matter if you stab somebody in the back if you only known them for 2 days. But if you have known them for 8 days or 38 days and you're stabbing them in the back, I just feel like it just makes things higher stakes in that way. So I know that they're not going to do it, but I just wish that they would see that it actually makes a more intense and more dynamic of a season the more time that they have to spend with each other.
Yeah, and when you have that time to plan your moves, it's sometimes the game just moves so quickly where it's reward challenge, whatever mission they're going to do that day. And then it's tribal right after. It's you don't have the time to bond with people and make changes to make these big swings. So yeah, I'm all for 39 days. I think obviously as a viewer, the casual viewer probably doesn't notice any difference, but I actually do notice as more of a diehard fan. I know you're the same. You can notice it in the new era where everything just seems to be moving way too quickly that you don't have time to actually strategize and make your moves the same way you would back in the day, where someone like Sandra in Pearl Islands, when Fairplay and Burden are on a reward And Sandra's back at camp and has like overnights to plan how to get Burden out and screw them over. In the new era, you don't get that because the same day as the challenge, you have the challenge, then immunity, then tribal. So I miss like the time at camp, and especially like now that we have 90-minute episodes, I would just love to see more of the dynamics at camp, the planning, the strategizing. So I know it's not going to happen. I'm hoping that at least they'll raise it to maybe 32 days or...
I don't think so. Because how it worked, it's like a cycle. So from what I understand, it's like the first day would say be the reward challenge. The next day would be immunity. And the following day would be tribal and interviews and, camp life. And so that's why it was 39 days, because it'd be a 13-week season, and 13 times 3 is 39. And so now it's, they're doing it still getting a 13-week season, but they're only using 2 cycles instead of 3.
Yeah.
And so they're getting the product that they want with less money potentially. But I think that us falling in love with people we're being robbed of that. Like, yes, there's some great dynamic characters that we really like, but I just don't think that they can create these legends anymore in the same way without us getting more time with them or seeing their dynamic with other people on their tribe and like what they're willing to do, even though this is their best friend. Like, we don't get that anymore. And so I think it just doesn't allow people to be a fully fleshed character on these seasons anymore. It's a little bit more glossy. It's a little more like, okay, like that was a fun little like spat of a player, but I'm not really getting it deeply involved in like, oh my God, the emotional struggle that this player is going through, or like, oh my God, that's gonna kill this person. They're gonna be so upset. Like, I don't have that passion when I'm watching anymore. And so I think that they're missing out. I think they are.
Yeah. I'm with you 100%. Well, this was a lot of fun. We'll definitely have to do this again. Something
100%.
Similar. Once the cast officially launches, we'll hop on. Tell the people listening where they can find you. I'll put your info in the description as well, but tell everyone where they can find you.
Thank you. So it's been a great time. Thanks for having me. I know I love talking about reality TV in general with you. And so it's fun to talk about Survivor, which we don't really do that often. So it's been a great time. So I really appreciate you bringing me on here to have a little chat about season 50 or the potential players in season 50. So you can find me on Instagram at ShanFranFran or at Reality Realness with 3 S's. On Twitter, I'm at Shan3_Fran, and Reality Realness on YouTube. You can find me, and we can do the challenge. We need to do our challenge, season 41 cast reveal. I've heard a couple names. I still don't know the cast. I've been avoiding it like the plague. So,
well, I will say, for those Survivor fans out there will be some Survivor representation on season 41 of the challenge. So definitely tune in. We'll actually, we'll be talking tomorrow about the challenge, and then we'll find some time to do the 41 breakdown. And if anyone is a challenge fan or just a fan of reality in general, subscribe, like Chantele's videos, Reality Realness, 3 S's. I will put it in the description here, and like and subscribe here as well. I'm trying to do more of these videos. Could really use the likes, the subscribes will help get me seen. And talking about all things TV, movies, sports here. So if you like reality TV, I'll do a little bit more of that. But really appreciate everyone watching. Chantele, thank you so much. You're the best. And we will chat soon, everyone. Take care. Bye.